Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, Steeler Nation. Unfortunately, I'm not Santa Claus, but you know what? We need a miracle on Art Rooney Avenue on Wednesday to clinch the AFC North and to rebound after that terrible loss that we had on Saturday against the Baltimore Ravens. And wouldn't that be a Christmas gift to all of us? Let's get into this preview, man. Good Sunday evening, everybody. I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link is down in the box below. So, on Christmas Day of 2024, the Kansas City Chiefs are coming into Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 14-1 Kansas City Chiefs, who defeated the Houston Texans on Saturday, and they are one step closer to clinching the number one seed in the AFC because last I checked, New England was actually beating Buffalo. So I don't expect New England to hold on to that lead. This is recording at the moment right now. And yeah, like I said, they are one step closer to clinching the AFC. While we are 10-5, we have lost two consecutive games in a row, and it's our first losing streak of the season. But it's coming at a pretty bad time for us, as obviously, the atrocity that took place on Saturday for us. We lost 34-17, a game in which the Steelers, despite the injuries that we had and despite, who was and who wasn't on the field for us, and Russ not having his best target, the run defense suffering heavily, the Steelers kept it competitive against the Baltimore Ravens throughout most of the game. But then Russell Wilson had two very bad turnovers that both resulted in points for the Ravens. A fumble at the goal line where he should have gave himself up at the goal line instead of trying to take on a defender. And then the big one, he had the pick six that sealed the game for us. But like I said, don't let that score fool you. The Steelers were competitive throughout much of that game, even though 34-17 suggests that it was completely one-sided. As for Kansas City, they won 27-19 over the Houston Texans, and the Chiefs finally seem to have had a offensive showing that justifies them being one of the elite offenses this season because, there's an old saying by a former head coach Bill Parcells. You are what your record says that you are. And Kansas City's 14-1. And while I've sat down here week after week after week and have said that, well, I'm not really impressed with Kansas City. I'm not really sold that they're a legit Super Bowl contender and they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Blah, 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 whatever I may have said. The cold hard truth is that they are 14-1 and they are well on their way to being the number one seed in the AFC. Okay? They're finding ways to win games. They're finding ways to get it done, even if they don't put up the most eye-popping stats or they don't score 30 or more points in a game, which shockingly, Kansas City is one of the few teams in the league that has yet to do this season. And the other teams that haven't done it this season are teams that you can expect that haven't done it. They're really bad teams. I don't know them at the top of my head, but I know Kansas City's in that category. But the fact is, you don't have the Chiefs have done it without eye popping everybody. And that's why they're 14-1. They're a very well coached team. They got the best quarterback in the game, in my opinion, in Patrick Mahomes. He may not be the best quarterback this season because this season has been a very down year for Patrick Mahomes' standards. And they do it with not even running the ball all that much as well. You know what I mean? You take a look at Kansas City on offense, and the first guy that basically everybody talks about with Kansas City, it's number 15 under center and Patrick Mahomes. And this is a team that's won the last two Super Bowls. They're the first team to repeat as champions since the Patriots did it in 2003 and 2004. And they're looking to become the first team to ever three-peat in the NFL as far as Super Bowl championships go. And like I said, it all starts with Patrick Mahomes. That's how it goes with Kansas City right there. You know, with Mahomes, I mean, I don't need to sit down here and reiterate anything that you already don't know about Mahomes. He's got a rocket for an arm. He's got great football IQ, great decision making, great maneuverability in the pocket without being truly a mobile quarterback. And he's just an overall transcendent talent, man. I can't find one bad thing to say about Mahomes. I really can't. Maybe it's that he does struggle a little bit with a pass rush, but Mahomes has done rather okay when it comes to facing pressure this season. So I really don't think I can even say that about him. So there you go with Mahomes right there. And like I said, this is a West Coast type of offense. And, you don't really anticipate them to be running the ball a lot, when you go up against them. And I think that's a big break as far as our rush defense goes, because our rush defense got demolished by Derrick Henry on Saturday. And with us potentially not having Larry Ogunjobi in this game as well, and with Patrick Queen not really doing all that decent in the past couple weeks against the run, I think the Steelers caught a massive break when it comes to a run game. That's something that we don't really have to worry a whole lot about when it comes to facing Kansas City. The Chiefs, they got a nice set of receivers as well. I mean, that Xavier Worthy kid that they just absolutely robbed away from Buffalo in the draft. But let's be honest, the Bills did that to themselves because they were stupid enough to trade their draft pick to Kansas City, and they ended up getting Xavier Worthy when everyone knew that the Chiefs needed a receiver because of the whole Rashee Rice thing in the offseason. And because, you can say what you want about Mahomes needing Tyreek Hill or whatever, but like I said, Kansas City's won the last two Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. So that really leaves with the guy that everybody just loves to hate around the NFL, and that is Travis Kelce. And hopefully Taylor won't be in the press box and the camera doesn't shine on her 50 times during the game, but that's another video for later. But yeah, overall, this Kansas City offense, it's like they definitely have the capability of being an elite offense. It's just that this season has been very down as far as their standards go. But definitely, this is an offense that you most certainly don't want to sleep on. Kansas City this year has definitely been carried by their defense. I mean, the Chiefs have just been playing great defense all season long. It's won them the majority of their games. They come up with some great turnovers. They're able to cause a lot of pressure, mainly with Chris Jones. And I think with the O-line right here, that's my first key to victory in this matchup here, is that the O-line absolutely has to step up in this game, because there were times on Saturday where Russ was definitely feeling the heat, and he did get sacked a couple of times, but Baltimore really isn't that same stingy pass rush that they've been in recent, that they're very well known to be. But Kansas City does have that type of pass rush. So definitely winning in the trenches is absolutely huge in this game. This is the most important game of the season, not just because of the team we're playing, but the most important game of the season because of what the O-line has to go up against as well. And I can already sit down here and tell you that I don't really favor our O-line in this matchup here, protecting that pass rush and protecting that onslaught that Kansas City has. And especially with opening up lanes for the running game to get something going here, because I mean, I like Jaylen Warren, and this is something that I forgot to mention in my post game on Saturday. I definitely think Jaylen Warren has won the RB1 job at this point over Najee Harris, because I'm sorry, guys. I like Najee. I think he's a hard worker. You can tell that he's definitely giving it his all. He's just not good. And that happens. He's not good. He dances around a lot. He can't find an open lane. I get that he's a tough physical runner as well. But I'm sorry, guys. His play has not warranted me to sit down here and say, yes, I'll give Jaylen Warren a fifth year. And especially with the fumble that he had against the Eagles in week 15, I think that was just the final nail in the coffin for it. Because that fumble right there just cost us it took every bit of momentum away that the Steelers had in that game, where they had a good drive going. They're trying to get back in the game. And while I do agree that the play call was very questionable as well by Arthur Smith, at the same time, Najee's got to keep his focus on the ball, and he's got to focus on making a play after it. What Najee was doing right there was that he was trying to just focus on solely making a play. And that's what cost the fumble right there. So I'm sorry, guys. I know a lot of people in Pittsburgh like Najee Harris, but if I'm being honest with you, I'm not giving that guy a fifth year. That's just all there is to it. And that's why I say that the O-line and the run game here are really going to have to step up here. You really got to use a guy like Jaylen Warren for this game. Secondly, my key to victory here is that the defense needs to absolutely step up here as well. If you can get constant pressure on Mahomes and you can penetrate that O-line the Chiefs have, and you can at least limit it, then your chances of beating Kansas City are going to go up, because Mahomes has been very uncharacteristically turnover prone this season. Like, I think he's a top 3 leader in interceptions this season. You don't hear that very often from Mahomes. You just don't. Like, their only loss of the season this year was to Buffalo. And what happened in that game that sealed the game for Buffalo? Mahomes threw a pick when he was being pressured, right? This defense absolutely has that capability of doing it. And if, like I said again, if Larry Ogunjobi is available for this game, if Deshaun Elliott can come in and make that and be that playmaking difference right there, and if TJ and Highsmith can just continue to, bull rush the hell out of every single O-line, I definitely think we have that capability of pressuring Mahomes and making him force passes. But again, that has to come on the secondary as well. I don't like that Deshaun Elliott could possibly miss this game as well. And Joey Porter Jr. also got injured in the Ravens game as well. And, looking at it right now, not that I wish that he gets hurt, but that might actually be a good thing for the secondary at this point, because JPJ, sorry, brother, I'm done with you. I know it's only been 2 seasons, but the guy is absolutely garbage in coverage. Not only when he's not committing defensive holding, and when he's not committing pass interference or whatever, basically when he's not getting a flag on him, he's getting absolutely cooked in coverage. And I can't recall a time this season where JPJ had an interception or he came away with a turnover in general. What I see last year from JPJ, I saw a confident kid out of school who just wanted to go out there and make a play. He had his rookie mistakes, sure, and that's what we chopped it down to. He did have a lot of holds. He was real grabby, and we just chopped it down to, well, he's a rookie. He's going to learn from it. We've seen more of it this season. It's been amplified. So, JPJ, get better, man. But honestly, at this point, I think we're better off without you. So, I think giving Corey Trice his chance in this game can be beneficial for us. But basically, the defense has to come away, force turnovers. We were able to get a turnover against the Ravens where Minkah Fitzpatrick made a great interception on Lamar Jackson. That was Minka's first pick in 2 years, by the way. I mean, wow, 2 years. And that's what we mortgaged to Miami for, but basically get a turnover and force a lot of pressure on Mahomes in this one. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about the run game because, like I said, Kansas City's not that type of team that just runs the ball very or not effectively, I should say. They don't run the ball very often, I should say. And finally, my key to victory here is the health. I am the furthest one that sits down here and goes like, well, we don't have so-and-so on the field and, we're playing our backups and, we're just so banged up, blah, 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 whatever. But how can you not justify it when we've seen all season how the Steelers have done on offense when George Pickens is on the field, the chemistry that he has with Russell Wilson, when Larry Ogunjobi's on the field, how he's able to make an impact with the run defense. I mean, sure, guys like Keanu Benton have definitely made their case this year, and TJ Watt, when he hasn't been sacking the quarterback, he's been stopping the run at times as well. And like I keep saying with Deshaun Elliott, he's probably been our best tackler this season. And that forces us to put guys like DeMonte Kazee and Beanie Bishop in coverage, for crying out loud. But I think the health is warranted to say in this video, in this matchup here. We're 10-5. We have a playoff spot wrapped up. And we win any one of these final 2 games, and Baltimore loses any one of their final 2 games, because the Ravens have the same schedule as us. Okay, we're not the only ones that are playing 3 games in 10 days. The Ravens are doing it. The Chiefs are doing it. The Texans are doing it. Come to think of it, yesterday, as like I said, I'm recording this on Sunday. Yesterday, those 4 teams all have the same schedule as each other, and they all play on Christmas Day as well. The only difference is that the matchups have been rotated around a bit. So Steeler Nation, this is your last chance to, sit down and go like, well, oh, woe is me. We have to play 3 games in 10 days. The league is so unfair. Goodell's so unfair with the scheduling, blah, blah, blah. And, I know Patty Mahomes whined and cried about that as well. It was all over social media. But you know me. I always sit down here and say, you know what? Put up or shut up. Either you do it or you don't. Because the Ravens have been doing it. Kansas City has been doing it. We haven't. Okay? That's all there is to it. They've been doing it. We haven't been doing it. So I've heard that George Pickens he quote does have a good chance of playing in this game, which I think is huge, and I think it does open up a big window of opportunity for the offense, and definitely Deshaun Elliott and Larry Ogunjobi's presence are going to be felt with the defense as well. If we're somehow fully healthy for this game, I like our chances a lot more than what people give us credit for. Okay? Because like I said, in the Ravens game, yeah, you look at the final 34-17, you'd think to yourself, well, the Steelers never had a chance in that game and they got completely demolished. We fought back with them blow for blow, everything they threw at us. We were down 10 at one point, and we got the game tied. And then, yeah, gave up a touchdown but we had another chance to tie the game again when we stopped the Ravens and Minka picked off Lamar. But it was just that terrible pick six that Russell Wilson threw that just took all the momentum away. The Steelers were right there in that game until that pick six happened when we were only down by 7 points. It's not like the Ravens were ahead like 30 or ahead like 27-0 at one point, and then we just got a bunch of garbage time points that people like to make it out to be. Anyone who sat down in front of that TV and watched that game in its entirety on Saturday night knows that what I'm saying is true. Okay? This Chiefs team, yeah, they're 14-1. But this Chiefs team this year, despite what their record is, they've shown that they've been very human this season. Okay? This is a Kansas City team that struggled against a Carolina team that has been horrendous this season. They struggled in both games against the Las Vegas Raiders. They had trouble putting away the Chargers both times this year, despite the fact that they swept them. I'm trying to think of who else at the top of my head that they played. They literally lost to the Ravens in week 1 by a toenail. If Isaiah Likely's toe is in bounds, the Ravens could probably have beaten Kansas City in week 1. It was a very controversial game against the Bengals the next week in week 2. And then obviously all the other stuff for Kansas City this season. But yeah, like I said, they're finding ways to win. Good for them. That's all that matters when it comes to the NFL. But it's not like the Chiefs are invincible either. This is a beatable team. This is a team that has flaws. And this is a team that, honestly, I think people are giving way too much credit to in this matchup here, and they're overlooking that the Steelers can give them a pretty good game on Christmas. Okay? Now, do I expect the Steelers to win this game on Christmas? Honestly, no, I don't. Okay? Just because of the stupid luck that Kansas City has this season, and because that we're on our worst slump of the season at the worst possible time. And I hate to say it, it's probably looking like another one and done for the Steelers come January. It is what it is. But I do expect the Steelers to be competitive in this game. Like I said in my recap in the Ravens game, if the Steelers lose, but we can at least look competent in a loss, then will I be furious that we've lost 3 straight games? I'd be incredibly annoyed that we went 0-3 during the stretch, in the most important stretch of the season. I wouldn't love it, obviously. But you know what? Looking competent in a loss, at least it shows that you know what? Maybe this team can get it turned around in the playoffs. Now, you can sit down here and whine and cry in the comments all you want about, well, the season's over. Well, we don't have a chance in this game. Mac, you're just being a homer. Mac, you're just being this. You're just being that. Whatever. I will always sit down here and tell you exactly what the Steelers can do to win a game. And I will tell you the chances and the benefits that they have and that they need to use. That's how I roll. Okay? But it's up to the team. Seeing a Mike Tomlin press conference on Sunday is weird enough. That's usually on Tuesday afternoon. But it's up to the team to get back up after those 2 bad losses in a row. And if Tomlin said that he's truly started preparing for Kansas City on Saturday morning, then you got to put those words into action. I know it's the most cliche sounding thing ever, but it's just how it is. But anyway, that's about it. Chiefs and Steelers on Christmas Day. As far as the recap goes, if you saw my community post, I don't know exactly when I'm gonna get the recap out. Probably either a day after or maybe the Friday after Christmas. I don't know when. I'm incredibly busy on Christmas, but the point is I needed to get the preview out now because if I didn't do it now, I was never gonna do it. But here I am now. It's Christmas Day. Like I said at the beginning, we need a miracle on Art Rooney Avenue on Wednesday afternoon on Peacock. It's Steelers Chiefs, baby. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And this is Mac checking on out for the day. Merry Christmas, everybody, and I am gone.